Hello, it's Anna Hill here with the Farming Today podcast. Could this Boxing Day be the last time hunts meet in their current form? We'll hear from both sides of the divide as the government says it'll ban trail hunting in England and Wales.
Trail hunting is being used as a smokescreen to avoid prosecution. So we really need to change the law so that it does what people expect it to do and stops hunting.
The idea that this law is somehow uniquely unenforceable just doesn't stand up to any scrutiny at all.
We'll hear from both sides of the debate about the government's plans to ban trail hunting in England and Wales. First today, as we know, 'tis the season to be jolly, but for those on their own at Christmas, it's not always easy to get into the spirit, especially if you're in an isolated rural area. So Scotland's rural charity, the RSABI, has rolled out a series of festive free lunches across the country, specifically for older members of the farming and crofting communities. Nancy Nicholson has been to one in the Highlands.
Hi Stephen, good to see you today. Hope you enjoy your lunch.
Yeah, so looking forward to it.
Oh,
it's really good to see you.
It's so nice to see everyone just coming together.
Well, I've been watching Mary Mackenzie, a trustee of the RSABI charity, greet the guests as they arrive here at the hotel for lunch.
As part of our Ploughing On campaign, we just want to try and gather the more senior people in agriculture and actually recognise the contributions they've made. To be honest, a lot of the people that are here, even though they're more senior in age, they are still very much actively farming. It's good to reach out and support these people and just let them know that we're there for them if need be.
There's a lot of chatter going on next door where they're sitting down just waiting for their lunch. Is it about reconnecting with old neighbours or people they used to work with as well?
I think probably the only time they see a lot of these men and women ever see each other is at sales, so it's nice for them to come. And to be honest, they come from all over the north, so it's just really nice to see them coming together and catching up in a different setting to what they would normally catch up, which is probably normally the mart.
I'm Kerry McLennan and I'm a case officer for RSABI covering the Highlands and Islands. We support crofters and farmers at times of need. That can be emotionally, it can be practically, or it can be financially.
Are there any particular issues at the moment that are worrying older farmers?
People are struggling with isolation, where in the past it would be working with neighbours or in a community setting. That seems to be going, and people are working on their own, and that can lead to them struggling quite a bit.
I'm here because I was asked to come here. I think they took pity on the aged, and that's what RSABI are all about, helping folk, and it's getting folk together and speaking. And it's quite important because agriculture is becoming a very isolated and lonely industry.
I'm Kenny Mackenzie. I'm a retired managing director of Dingle Mart. So I'm here with a lot of the older customers and friends from off the mart and beyond, and it's just a lovely meeting place for us all to get together and have a nice meal and a wee bit catch up.
Sharing stories and memories and wisdoms?
Yeah, probably. As much as anything, yes, it will be.
Are you still a working farmer?
Well, I used to winter about 1,000 sheep until about 2 years ago. I'm 83 years of age and I've given it up, but I still train dogs.
You were invited here today?
I was invited here today by the mart. So I'm meeting a lot of old friends here I don't see very often, so it's very nice to come here.
You looking forward to your lunch?
Absolutely, I'm getting hungry now.
Enjoy it.
Nancy Nicholson there with the Christmas lunches. The summer's hot weather may seem a distant memory now, but it's made for a challenging year in the UK's Christmas tree plantations. Bob Hockenhull has been to meet grower Tom Theobald to find out what it's taken to get the right quality trees on sale in time for the festive season.
It's been a good harvest this year. Sales have been strong, less imported trees this year, which is always good for us as a UK grower. The growing season wasn't the best, so the trees haven't quite grown as much as we would have liked, but all in all it's been good.
Give us an idea of how many acres of land you plant trees on.
So it's around 600 acres of trees that we've got, and it's kind of a 10-year rotation. So you've got some trees that are 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old and so on. So you've got a constant flow of trees for sale each year.
You mentioned it had been a tough growing season. Obviously that was because of the drought. What did you do to try and mitigate that?
We can spray biostimulants to try and reduce stress, stuff like seaweed and products like that. But really, over the acreage we've got, we're not set up with irrigation. We couldn't do a great deal to help the trees, but every little helps, and we tried our hardest.
Did you lose any?
Some of the new planting, we lost a small percentage. It wasn't actually as bad as what I was expecting. They did manage to survive pretty well, really.
In terms of looking after the soil, do the trees actually take nutrients out of the ground?
They do take nutrients out, but we do fertilise each year, soil test, and make sure that all the nutrient levels are exactly how they should be.
Tom Theobald there. Now, could this Boxing Day be the last time we see horses and hounds gathered outside the village pub for their traditional Christmas time meet, a colourful spectacle which sharply divides opinion? The government's announced plans to consult on banning trail hunting in England and Wales. It's already been banned in Scotland. The announcement has been welcomed by anti-hunting groups but greeted with dismay by the Countryside Alliance. Trail hunting was brought in as an alternative to hunting foxes with hounds after that was banned under the 2004 Hunting Act. In a trail hunt, the hounds follow an animal-based scent. No foxes are supposed to be pursued. However, animal rights campaign groups such as the League Against Cruel Sports believe the practice has been used by some as a smokescreen to hide illegal, intentional fox hunting with hounds. The chief executive of the League Against Cruel Sports, Emma Slavinsky, says the current law isn't working and needs change.
Already this season, and we're only part way through the season, of course, we've had more than 260 reports of illegal hunting. And we're talking about a period of 20 years. So if you multiply that up, you can see that there is absolutely widespread illegal hunting. And it's not a case of just taking our word for it. Assistant Chief Constable Matt Longman, who's the National Police Chiefs Council's lead on this area, he's saying that illegal hunting is widespread, that trail hunting is being used as a smokescreen to avoid prosecution. So we really need to change the law so that it does what people expect it to do and stops hunting.
So why not tighten the law then, rather than have a total ban?
Well, that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to tighten up the law that already exists. What we would like to do is to ban trail hunting completely. That was only invented after the law changed 20 years ago. It would still permit clean boot hunting, still permit proper, well-regulated drag hunting, but it would get rid of this smokescreen activity that's been invented to cover up the hunting of foxes.
You mentioned clean boot hunting.
So clean boot hunting is where a group of people, very fit people, run. They're literally running in front of a pack of hounds who are pursuing them by following the scent that naturally drops from their body. And those hounds are bloodhounds, animals that have been bred for centuries to chase people, as opposed to foxhounds who have been bred for centuries to chase wild animals. Drag hunting involves laying an artificial trail as opposed to an animal scent. And if it's very well managed, it can be lower risk. And remember, drag hunts have been around before the ban came in, so it was a pre-existing sport, never intending to catch foxes. We think that they may be okay, but it's not the League Against Cruel Sports' job to find an alternative to fox hunting. It is our job to stop fox hunting, which is already illegal.
Last time round in 2004, when the Hunting Act was brought in, the reason why trail hunting was allowed was because the argument for those who wanted to carry on was the impact on the rural economy and communities. That point still stands, doesn't it?
Well, I don't agree. I think we've seen that some hunts have already converted to hunting with bloodhounds, so that's an option for them. But also, I think there's this conflation of other rural issues with hunting, and I don't accept that conflation, because what we're talking about here specifically is an animal welfare issue, and the support to end hunting is overwhelming, whether you're in the town or in the countryside.
Emma Slavinsky, Chief Executive of the League Against Cruel Sports. Tim Bonner is Chief Executive of the Countryside Alliance, which campaigns on hunting and other rural issues. I put to him the League Against Cruel Sports' assertion that it had received more than 200 reports of illegal hunting this season alone.
I think we can make up any numbers we like, but the one that probably matters most is the number of prosecutions and convictions under the Hunting Act since it was passed in 2004. And the fact is, on Ministry of Justice figures, there have been more convictions under that legislation than any other piece of wildlife legislation. In fact, more than twice as many as the next most prosecuted piece of legislation. So the idea that this law is somehow uniquely unenforceable just doesn't stand up to any scrutiny at all. People should, of course, be obeying the law that was passed, but the evidence is that if they're not, that they will be prosecuted and they will be convicted.
The National Police Chiefs Council's lead on hunting also says trail hunting is being used as a smokescreen for hunting foxes. Is it?
Well, I mean, I'd only go back to those numbers. I don't know what more we can say. If someone is breaking the law, it's a really straightforward piece of legislation. If someone's breaking the law, if they're pursuing a wild mammal with their dogs, they will be convicted if the evidence is there. I don't understand the politics of this. I don't understand why Labour thinks it's necessary to re-legislate on an issue which it itself said it had dealt with 20 years ago. And I don't understand why they think that this is a priority either for the countryside or for animal welfare.
Would the Countryside Alliance support a tightening of the law to remove some of the loopholes as an alternative to a ban on trail hunting?
Well, I mean, there's a huge amount of clarity that's needed over what the government's proposals are. There is going to be a question about whether the government is really just talking about the enforcement of legislation that it passed in 2004, or whether it is going to enable a wider attack on hunting in the countryside, really to enable the sort of culture war that we saw in the 2000s when Labour backbenchers took control of the then Labour government's legislation. That would be a disaster. It would be a disaster for the countryside, I think, and it would also be a disaster for the government.
Will this year's Boxing Day meets conceivably be the last?
I've been dealing with that question for 23 years, I think I worked out. And the answer was no then, and the answer is no now. And I'm very confident hounds will be meeting in 23 years' time.
Labour has a huge majority in the Commons. And those who are against hunting say they've got a massive amount of public support. So why do you think it'll continue?
Firstly, because it would be bizarre if this Labour government went down a route which